What's up? I'm Lauren. Okay, secret you probably didn't know about me. I get overwhelmed easily. Actually, I'm overwhelmed right now. But let me tell you about this one time. I was in middle school and my parents had decided we were going to move from Florida to Georgia. It was a big move, and up until this point, we hadn't moved in years. So I had collected a lot of stuff. One afternoon, I came home from school, and just as I was about to lay down on the couch, turn on some Nickelodeon, eat some Pringles, my mom tells me that it's time for me to clean out my room. All of it. My closet, my drawers, under my bed, which is scary. It was a daunting task. She gave me a few boxes and asked me to get to work. What should have taken me a few hours took me a few days because I spent more time giving myself pep talks than actually cleaning and packing. I was so overwhelmed and I didn't know where to start. And here's the thing, I'm gonna tell you another secret. I'm not a good dancer. That's actually pretty overwhelming for me. It's like a lot of steps and movements and things to remember and just in general coordination, and it's difficult, it's hard. Hey, Macarena. But because I'm committed to learning something new, I have a friend here who can actually dance, and they're gonna teach me some moves. Marley! What's up?
What's up?
This is my friend Marley. Marley, what grade are you in?
I am in 7th grade.
7th grade. Now, you're about to teach me some moves. If you had to rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, where would you rate yourself?
I would probably rate myself as an 8 because I still need a lot of work to do.
I'm gonna put myself at a nice 4. I would love to learn from you, so teach me a dance that I need to know right now. What's in, what's hip, what do I need to know, okay?
Okay, well, I guess we could start with the floss.
Okay, that's cool. I floss my teeth, yep.
Like you start from right here.
Okay.
Then your waist goes out.
Uh-huh.
Then you go back out.
Okay.
Switch over in the front.
Oh, getting
Back
crazy.
over on the side.
Okay.
Back over.
Uh-huh.
Front.
Oh,
Just like
I
flossing
get
for
it.
real.
Yeah, flossing your teeth, which is important. Dental hygiene is a priority. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. What's the next move I need to know? It's a good cardio. This is good. Okay, I like that one. Nervous for my ankles. Show me the most complicated move you know. I think I'm ready.
I might want to stay back a little
Oh,
bit.
okay, yes,
Alright.
yes. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I can do that, but that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
10 out of 10.
Wow, that was it's my cardio for the week, I think. So, but I did it. I learned a new thing. Kind of, maybe. I don't know. See, some things are pretty intimidating like that. Like, they can seem so complicated or overwhelming that we just don't know where to start. And maybe for you, it's not dancing, and it was writing your first book report or research paper. I mean, doing all that work and writing more than just one page isn't an easy task, is it? Or maybe it was learning all the lines for that school musical you're in, or memorizing all those plays for the team you're on. Maybe it was just taking on the task of actually cleaning your room, and I mean really cleaning your room. It looks like a bomb went off in there, and we all know it. So how do we even know where to start? Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt a similar way about your faith? I think if we're being honest, we'd all say that sometimes following Jesus seems like a pretty big and important task. In fact, it's so big and important that sometimes we don't even know where or even how to start. Maybe the idea of following Jesus leaves you feeling overwhelmed. You kind of want to know what this Jesus thing is all about, but it just seems really complicated. Too many rules, too many Bible verses, too many prayers, too many things to remember, to do or not to do. You just don't know where to start. Or maybe for you, it's not that following Jesus on its own seems complicated, it's that life seems complicated. There are so many other options for your life, so many other demands and distractions to give your attention to besides following Jesus. I mean, you've got your friends, your family, your schoolwork, your small group, your team, your activities, your social media, your YouTube channel, your chores, the list goes on and on and on. And with all those things asking for your time and attention, the idea of adding one more thing to that list, especially something as big as following Jesus, well, it just seems like a lot. Maybe you aren't interested at all in this whole faith thing. And that's because you're overwhelmed too. Not by the idea of actually following him, but by what you think you'd have to give up if you did. You don't want to stop hanging out with those friends or watching that show or listening to that music or dating that person. And you think if you decide to follow Jesus, that's exactly what you'll have to do. Changing the way you're living now just seems like too big of a job. No matter what you think about following Jesus, all of us could probably agree that it's a pretty big deal. Deciding to put your faith in God and live a life that follows Jesus is a big decision. And big decisions often leave us overwhelmed. For some of us, we aren't sure we even want to start following Jesus. And for others of us, we just don't know where to start. Luckily, there's a story in the New Testament that gives us some answers. It's an encounter Jesus had with a man that I think will give us an idea of how we can start following Jesus, even when it seems overwhelming. The story is found in the book of Luke, one of the books that chronicles the events of Jesus' life here on earth. As the story goes, Jesus encountered a man named Levi, who was a tax collector. His name was later changed to Matthew. Now, you've heard of taxes, right? There's this thing that adults have to do, and there's like all these kinds of forms, and it's such a hassle, and everyone dreads doing their taxes. But this was a big deal back then too, because you see, tax collectors were really powerful, important people. Money, please. No more. Just a little bit more. I know you have it, so just some more. A little more. And because of that, they were also hated by a lot of their own people. I mean, really hated. As you can imagine, Levi wasn't the most popular guy on the block in town. With that in mind, let's see what Luke has to say. Later, as Jesus left the town, he saw a tax collector named Levi sitting at his tax collector's booth. "Follow me and be my disciple," Jesus said to him. So Levi got up, left everything, and followed him. Whoa, hold on a second. You're telling me that Jesus, who is perfect and sinless, not only stopped to talk to this terrible, horrible Levi guy, but he also invited Levi to actually follow and go with him? The tax collector, traitor, and thief? That's the guy Jesus chose? Well, yeah, that's exactly what happened. When Jesus met Levi, he didn't address anything about his behavior or his job or his loyalties. Jesus didn't wait to see how Levi measured up or what he was or wasn't willing to do for him. Instead, Jesus invited Levi to follow him, just like that. He invited Levi to take a step. He invited Levi to start, because following Jesus starts with a step. You're probably thinking, that sounds simple and all, but is it really that easy? Here's the hard answer. No, it's not. Following Jesus is a big deal. Taking a step toward him is an important decision in your life, because anytime you step toward something, you have to step away from something else, and that isn't always easy to do. Levi had to step away from what was on the table. He had to walk away from what was right in front of him so he could step toward following Jesus. His job, his money, his power, all of it had to be left behind. He didn't have everything figured out. He didn't know what was going to happen next. He didn't know what people would think of him or if Jesus would continue to accept him. And honestly, all of those thoughts probably left Levi feeling more than overwhelmed. But it's important to see that even with all that, Levi still took the step. Just one step towards following Jesus. And every single day after that, he just had to take the next step. Levi didn't exactly know what he was stepping into when he took a step away from the table that day. He just knew who he was taking a step towards: Jesus. He was following Jesus. And from then on, he just kept taking one step towards Jesus at a time. Because that's what faith and following Jesus really is. It's one prayer at a time, one choice at a time, one moment at a time. It's a step by step by step. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just have to start. Following Jesus starts with a step. So what does it look like in your life right now? Well, I think it's probably different for all of us. But we can remember that all we have to do is start. Just one step, then the next, then the next. Following Jesus starts with a step. So this week, here's the step I hope you'll take. Start by asking yourself, what's the thing I might have to step away from? Just like Levi stood up and walked away from his tax collector's booth, maybe you need to walk away from something too. Maybe for you, that's walking away from a feeling. Maybe it's doubt or fear that God doesn't really care about or love you. Maybe it's pride that tells you you've already got it all figured out. Or maybe it's walking away from a habit. Maybe it's those videos you know you shouldn't be watching, or that gossip you know you shouldn't be participating in, or the drugs and alcohol you're curious about or experimenting with. Or maybe it's walking away from an unhealthy relationship